Hey y'all, Josh here today, aka the world's greatest dad. And what we got in this box is the Chapin 8304C 100-pound turf broadcast spreader. Now I've read some people online say that this thing is a pretty awesome tool, but it's also very hard to put together. So today we're going to film my installation process and I'll share my thoughts with you on how difficult it is, how long it takes me, and who I think can actually tackle this thing. So with that being said, let's get it. So when this thing gets shipped to you, it's going to come to you in a box just like this. And everything's packed up nice in there. So let's go ahead and get everything unboxed, see what we're working with. All right, we got her all unboxed, and as you can see, it definitely does come with a lot of parts that you do got to put together. Of course, we got everything we're gonna need right there. Some handles, handy dandy instruction book. Comes with a grill grate and a rain cover. Of course, that's gonna be our 100-pound hopper right there. Some nice pneumatic tires, and all the other little bits and pieces that we're gonna have to put together. So after diving into the instruction book, I gotta say, it is fairly detailed and they do give you a lot of pictures for reference. Now with that being said, as you can see, there's a lot of parts here. So if you're not that handy, then you might need somebody to put this thing together for you. Luckily for me, I enjoy this kind of stuff. So I'll dive into this and see how long it takes me to put together. And here's all the tools that you're gonna need to complete this task today. As you can see, you're gonna need some type of hammer, some pliers. You're gonna need an 8 and a 10mm socket, as well as crescent, and then a screwdriver. I would also suggest having yourself a nice razor blade or some type of knife so you can easily cut these pieces out of the packaging as you need them. And we just completed step 1, which is our handlebar and gate control assembly. Now I will tell you, you don't want to over tighten any of these things right here until we get this thing all done. Then we'll go through and snug everything up. But overall for step 1, pretty simple. And step 2 is fairly simple as well. We're simply putting this plastic baffle in between these legs. And when you do that, you want to make sure these holes line up with those holes right there. Now step 3, some more of our frame assembly has been a little bit more complex, and you really got to make sure that you read through those instructions very carefully and look at them a couple times. But basically we've just got some more of these nuts and bolts, this nice little tensioner rod in between here. You are going to have to remove a couple of these nuts, and you'll use those in a later step. And other than that, we're just getting everything nice and snug right now, but not too tight. And for step 4, we're simply going to assemble our impeller here to our gearbox. Finally get to use this screwdriver, and we're just putting this right down on the bottom here and running this screw in to tighten it. And for step 5, we attached our gearbox here to our frame. We also have our axle for our wheels. And this is just another one of those steps you really want to look it over and read it 3 or 4 times before you start putting the nuts and bolts on, because you want to make sure that you get everything correct. And for step 6, we put on our wheels to our axle there. And on this side, you'll see we connected it with a nut and a bolt. And then on this one here, a cotter pin. Now for step 7, we're going to assemble our hopper to our frame right here. And basically we're going to use 3 of these. That's going to go right in the top with the nut on the bottom of each one. One thing I will have you pay attention to is those 2 yellow things. You got to make sure that gets under the frame when you put this on, and then it should slide in nice and easy. Now for step 8, we're going to go ahead and choose the auger that we want. Now they provide you with 2 different augers. We've got this metal one here, which is going to be for most your standard fertilizers, weed and feeds, pesticides, things like that. And then they also have this spiked auger right here, and that's for stuff that tends to clump up a little bit more. For what we're going to use this metal auger right here. And so we simply just put this thing on, and we will screw that thing all the way down to the bottom. And then we've got this nut right here that will attach to the top and tighten that up. Now step 9 covers attaching all our linkage right here, which is just basically this metal rod and one more metal rod underneath. I'll show you a little closer look, but basically you've got 2 nuts down here, which we're going to use to adjust this. And we got a cotter pin that we'll put underneath here to make sure this is all secure. Then for step 10, we have these adjustable feet that will each go on the bottom here. And this is finally a time where you can pull out your hammer or some type of device like that. And now we're going to spend a little time just going through every kind of nut and bolt on this thing that we left kind of loose when we were assembling it, and just making sure we got everything tightened up. And step 11 of the process here is how we adjust the gate control. And basically that is just going to be adjusting these nuts right down here. And as you can see, we've got it opened up. You see the hole right there. As we close, it closes all the way. So we've got this thing dialed in just how it should be. So now it's all put together. Let's go ahead and just do a quick walk around and check out all their nice handiwork there. Pretty good looking unit. Of course, I love the 100-pound capacity. Everything is very well built with that metal frame, even down to that little piece right there being a nice thick metal. Of course, those pneumatic wheels, very heavy duty for lots of different turf and terrain. So the whole process from unboxing to the final product that you're looking at right now took me about an hour and 15 minutes this afternoon. A couple takeaways and tips from this is, number one, thoroughly read these instructions and make sure you're looking at the pictures very carefully. There's only a couple steps in here that are kind of complex, and the rest of them are fairly straightforward. So if you decide to pick up one of these Chapin 8304C 100-pound turf spreaders, I hope this video helps you out, and we'll see you next time.